Week 1 of the NFL season finally here, and this is Fantasy Victory Now. Now, if you were like me, you woke up, Alex Henry was no longer a Philadelphia Eagle.
Yes,
so
and you drafted him.
So plenty of fantasy football changes in the kicker department.
There are a bunch of new kickers that fantasy owners might have missed. In fact, you may very well have drafted Alex Henry or Shane Graham or some other guys that are no longer on teams. In Detroit, there's a new kid you should know named Nate Freeze. You can't ice a kicker named Nate Freeze, which is why I automatically like him. Jason Hansen, of course, kicked there for like 20 years. And the beauty of having Nate Freeze on your team and why I think he's rosterable is, Mike, indoor stadium, so you don't have to worry about weather.
Nope.
High-powered offense. I mean, really, all about kickers, it's all about opportunity, first and foremost, and less about skill. And Nate Freeze looks like he's got good distance as well. In New Orleans, Derek Dimke takes over. Don't have a ton of read on him, and I'm not even sure he's going to last there or not, but it's obviously an extremely high-powered offense, so you could consider him as early as this week with an easy matchup in Week 1. In Arizona, your new kicker is Chandler Catanzaro.
Common spelling.
Yes, the old Chandler Catanzaro. We don't have a big book on him either. I think you could wait on him. Tampa Bay, Patrick Murray takes over for Connor Barth. And then there's my favorite. In Philadelphia, they got a kid named Cody Parkey. He's bombed a bunch of 50-yarders in practice and in games, and he ended up just beating out Alex Henry. And Philadelphia could be the highest-scoring team in football. So
plenty of extra point opportunities and could have some of that long-distance Greg Zuerlein capability as well.
Yeah, you sure hope so, yeah. And, you know, I just see a team that in Philadelphia crosses the 50 a lot, so you have a lot of opportunities. Yeah. Cody Parkey.
Cody Parkey.
Yes.
There you go. Know it. Rob Gronkowski says he is back, ready for Week 1 after a up-and-down preseason. So what do we think going into Week 1?
You know, didn't get much of a look at him, didn't play any of the preseason games, but he says he's going to go into Week 1. So here's my official advice on Rob Gronkowski, pending something happening later in the week where we get a better read on what his play count would be. And that's really the issue. How many plays are you going to get out of Rob Gronkowski? Is it going to be 20 or is it going to be 60? And that's a big variance. So if you drafted Gronkowski and you were worried about him and you backed him up with somebody capable, you know, like a Travis Kelce maybe, then great. Let's start Travis Kelce this week. And if the worst case scenario for you is Gronkowski looks awesome and he scores a touchdown, well, okay, you're set for the next 16 weeks, and that's not so bad either. And if it turns out that he only plays 20 plays, which is reasonable for a guy who didn't play at all in the preseason, coming off a reconstructed knee, he may only have the 20 plays. Well, you've got a backup plan in place. Now, if you didn't draft somebody with a pulse, and now you're scanning the waiver wire, and you're going to have to go Brent Selleck, you know, at that point, I'd just roll the dice on Gronkowski. So evaluate really. I think the Gronkowski play really comes down to how much you like and value your second tight end.
And clearly the Patriots going out and getting Tim Wright, so they still really want to throw the ball to the tight end.
Yeah, they do. And those two guys play really different positions, so don't feel like the Wright signing takes anything away from Gronkowski. It's more like the Aaron Hernandez role that Tim Wright would be filling.
Exactly.
Yeah, not the role of a murderer.
So now the Broncos, they don't seem concerned at all about Wes Welker, really, but head injuries always concerning to me. Obviously, you know, his third concussion in just 9 months.
Wes Welker is a tricky guy, both to draft and then start. You know, any game that he starts, and I think you have to play him. But, boy, my feeling is if you can get some good games out of Wes Welker early in the season, you know, in light of the fact that any hit could be his last, any tackle could be his last, if we get some good games out of him, I think you move him. And I'm really conservative. Even if he bounces back from this one of these, you know, each concussion brings on the next one more easily.
All it takes is one more hit.
All it takes is one more. So I think you see what kind of September he puts together, and if he puts together a good one, I think you're moving on at that point.
All right, every year, Week 1, there's that number 4 wide receiver, someone like Alex Ogletree from Dallas 2 years ago, who comes out of nowhere.
Freshman Jackson, I think the name was like 7-8 years ago, yeah.
So they come out, they have that Monday night game with 150 yards, 2 scores. Who's going to be that guy this year that's still available in most leagues that everyone's going to be rushing to the waiver wire?
Well, I don't know that he's going to have the giant Week 1, but if there's a guy that I think is available in virtually, you know, 99.5% of leagues out there that I think should be on a roster. And again, I don't know that he blows up in Week 1, but a guy named Theo Riddick. He's the number 3 running back in Detroit. And the idea for Theo Riddick is that he's going to be their Darren Sproles. And why do you care about Detroit trying to use Darren Sproles? Well, it's because their offensive coordinator came from the Saints. His name's Joe Lombardi. Yes, from that Lombardi family, by the way.
Good lineage.
Good lineage, yes. And Joe Lombardi, who obviously used Darren Sproles extensively in New Orleans. He was the quarterback coach there, but he learned from Sean Payton and learned from that offense. They say, and that the plan is to use Theo Riddick that way. Now, they've got 3 good pass-catching backs. They got Joique Bell and Reggie Bush as well. But Theo Riddick is, if he can end up having something even close to a Darren Sproles role, if you're in a league that gives points on a reception basis, Theo Riddick, either they're splitting out wide as a wide receiver and a guy who's going to get a few carries out of the backfield and catch a lot of balls out of the backfield. I think there's a spot for him on most rosters, and he's going to have some sneaky upside in a high-potency offense.
Great. And Packers, Seahawks opening the season. A lot of people want to know, is there any situation in which you bench studs like Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb against a tough Seattle defense?
Yes. I mean, in most cases, no. But I'll tell you this much. You can find the quarterback rankings that we've got for Aaron Rodgers right now in Fantasy Victory, and he's, I believe, number 14 on my list. And that means there are going to be other quarterbacks you may have on roster. And I've got Russell Wilson, and I've got both quarterbacks going in one of my leagues, and I'm starting Russell Wilson over him. This is the toughest matchup Aaron Rodgers will have all year. Toughest he's going to have, for the whole season, probably the lowest ranking he's going to have. There's a chance you've got a better quarterbacking option available to you. At receiver, I doubt you're going to do better than Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb, but there is a chance. I mean, both of those guys, this is a very tough matchup. Richard Sherman's going to take one of those 2 away for most of this game, and it's going to be difficult to get more than, I think, 1.5 passing touchdowns out of Aaron Rodgers. So, yeah, there's a scenario where you do have to show some unusual amounts of caution for all 3 of the guys you mentioned that are normally just, plug them in every week and don't even think about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. It's week 1. Games start Thursday. Don't forget to set your lineup. It's Fantasy Victory Now with Paul Charchian, and I'm Mike Durkin. Follow us on Twitter @FantasyVictory and @PaulCharchian.